Teasing Master Takagi-san was a series that worked with one very simple concept. Having one girl who's in love with a boy that doesn't really understand love, or at least doesn't understand that the girl loves him. He's so immature that he doesn't really get it. He thinks that this girl's teasing him. But what happens when you actually flip those roles, but not only that, but actually make it a mutual relationship? The two sides loving each other, but not necessarily saying it. This is a concept that we address in When Will Ayumu Make His Move, a new series that is getting adapted from the same creator of Teasing Master Takagi-san, Suishiro Yamamoto. This is a series that is airing in the summer 2022 anime season. I've watched 2 episodes of it, and this is my thoughts on the series so far. When Will Ayumu Make His Move follows Ayumu, who is currently in the shogi club along with his senpai, Urushi. And what we established very, very quickly, it seems like it didn't even want to waste its time, is that Ayumu is at that club to be with Urushi. He gave up kendo and everything just to join this club, which we later find out it's not even an established club yet because they need more members, all because he wants to spend time with Urushi. And he's very forward about his feelings about Urushi and calling her cute and all this kind of stuff, but he never confesses that he actually loves her. On the opposite end, Urushi realizes that I think this guy has a thing for me. He's obviously expressing that he thinks I'm cute. He always wants to be around me and all this stuff. But how can I make him actually confess? But the thing that Urushi doesn't know is that Ayumu, despite the fact that he does like Urushi, he's made a commitment that he'll never confess to Urushi until he actually beats her at shogi. And unfortunately for him, Urushi is very good at shogi. And despite the fact that every now and then it seems like Urushi wants to not make him leave by actually giving him some sort of handicap, he doesn't accept it because, again, from our perspective, we know that he wants to beat her fair and square. And so this begins this kind of back and forth between the two of them, building a relationship between the two of them, seeing these cute little moments between them, and additionally having these back and forths where Urushi's trying to get something out of Ayumu, while at the same time Ayumu is openly expressing how much he appreciates her. It's a really cute dynamic that kind of presses on the idea of Urushi trying to throw him off. And yes, he's got a very stern look on his face, trying to throw him off, and yet he always kind of accepts it, and he's very straightforward about accepting it, and it always just backfires on her every single time. Like I equated to earlier, it's almost like Teasing Master Takagi-san, but where Nishikata actually goes, okay, yes, you're actually really cute, and it just completely decimates Takagi-san. Additionally, on the side, we do get some side characters, including this guy that Ayumu used to go to the kendo club with. It seems like he's sort of given up on his club activities as well, for the sake of this one girl, Sakurako. And the two of them spend time at the library after school, and additionally go home together. And their kind of gimmick is the idea that Sakurako is really good at doing hypnotism, and so she always does hypnotism on him to force him to do stuff. And at the same time, he's really unwilling to admit that he really likes her. So my thoughts on When Will Ayumu Make His Move? I'm really enjoying this show so far. Now, I will say this show is kind of one of those ones where you have these segmented times where it feels like nothing's really happening. Like, it's very cute for the sake of being cute, but not really doing anything additionally. I do have a feeling deep inside that unless they keep doing these really cute moments, like at the end of episode 2, I'm really going to start getting a fatigue around the idea that it's always typically Urushi trying to throw off Ayumu. Ayumu accepts it's very direct, and then she gets this puzzled face, this blushed up face. It's like it should be renamed from When Will Ayumu Make His Move to How Many Times Will Ayumu Make Urushi Frazzled? But again, that's the flavor here. That's the adorable nature of this show, is just really seeing how badly he can throw Urushi off, despite the fact that it doesn't seem like he's doing it intentionally. He's just very straightforward, while never committing to actually confess until he can actually beat her in shogi. Which brings me to my next point. The shogi aspect of the show is not very deep. So if you're not a fan of shogi and you don't like shows that get too wordy about shogi, don't worry about it. It's very surface level stuff that they're kind of hitting on. The focus here isn't the shogi. It's the vehicle in which these two were actually spending time together, and that's pretty much strictly it. There's some points where they talk about this invincible strategy and how it can be broken, but it's always to show the two of them get closer together. But additionally, the concept of the club itself is kind of an avenue for another cute aspect of this, and the idea that Urushi really desires to have an official club. She's always desired for it, but yet nobody ever joined the club until he did. So she still wants to make an official club, but she needs like 4 people to be in the club for it to be established. And this is kind of a driving force for Ayumu to want to make her dream come true, but at the same time he has a conflict. He wants to be alone there with Urushi, And so if he does get new members or she does get new members, that means that they're not going to be able to be there alone. So it's almost as if he's trying to find people that will specifically join as a ghost member so they're not there, including Takaru, who he goes to and says, hey, can you join this club? Well, yeah, but I can't actually be there. That's perfect. Join as a ghost member. I don't want you to be there, basically. But he won't admit that. But it's kind of another cute little aspect to add to it. On the visual side, I think the show looks fine. It's not trying to do anything crazy, but at the same time, the character designs are really solid. And I think that really is an added bonus to the entire series, because if anybody is a super fan like I am with Shoichiro Yamamoto's work, his female character designs are always so adorable. And yes, it really does speak truth in Urushi. She looks, whenever she's frazzled, that's literally where all the effort of the show goes to, is showing those frazzled, embarrassed, and thrown off looks that she gives. But additionally, I like some of the other character designs. Sakurako looks absolutely great. I really love having the two bangs that come down together is kind of unique. But it's got a great cast so far. To be perfectly honest with the TZ Master Takagi-san, I really didn't care for a lot of the side characters, where I think with this show, it is kind of showing a sign this writer is getting better at least making some sort of great chemistry with characters that are outside of the main characters. I loved watching Takaru and Sakurako. And additionally, Maki was fantastic as well. She's sort of the character that knows what's going on between Urushi and Ayumu, and she kind of prods and pokes them every now and then. So overall, I'm really enjoying this show. I kind of attribute this a lot to the chemistry that we found in TZ Master Takagi-san. But again, whereas Takagi-san was more focused on one being very, very juvenile and ditz to love, while the other one was more mature, this one really does kind of shake that chemistry up and show both what this writer's good at. This writer's really good at characters teasing each other and characters having these moments where they realize they're in over their head when it comes to relationships. And it's taking that ability the writer has to have these cute, very puppy love type moments and move it to a more mature setting, because these characters do seem a lot more grown up. And again, both sides are accepting to the idea that they love the other one. They're attracted. But again, having this one little penalty that Ayumu has preset on himself that he will not confess until he beats her is that carrot on the stick that will eventually drag it out. Now, will it drag out as good as TZ Master Takagi-san does? That's the big question mark. Can that ability that the writer has to really drag out this concept work in the situation? And I think that really is going to rest on Urushi, because again, she's very adorable, and the seiyuu is really pulling it off. I was really surprised to see that Urushi, the seiyuu behind her, has really only done one other project, and it was a very side character in Pretty Derby. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on when will Ayumu make his move. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know his thought of the series if you're going to be checking it out. Subscribe if you're not already so you can get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I definitely appreciate everybody that supports us, and y'all take care.